Hey everyone, welcome back. It's going to be another episode today working on the ITBs on my E30. I've talked to RHD and Rama a little bit to figure out kind of if they've run into any common issues with oil leaks where I'm having oil leaks, and it doesn't seem to be a major concern with their part. So what I did, I went ahead and bought a new tube, new spring, new washer, and new O-rings just to try to seal up that part as best as I can. And I'm going to go ahead and take off that middle set of throttle bodies, get this new tube installed, and then put the throttle bodies back on, and hopefully that will solve all my issues. It only seemed to be a problem at higher RPM, so I don't think it's a drastic issue. So I think with these new parts, it should go ahead and solve all the problems I'm having. This new setup, even with shipping, it was about $35, so it's not a huge hit, and it shouldn't take too long to get the old part off and this new one back in. Biggest problem is that I do have to take that throttle body off, so I'll have to resync them once I get it back together. So it was pretty easy to get the throttle bodies and the spacers off. The runners that you might not be able to see, but they're still on there. The trouble with that one is going to be that the fuel injectors are still in, and they're kind of connected with the fuel rail across all three pairs. And hopefully I can just take that fuel rail off of the bracket and then move it out of the way without having to take off all of the other throttle bodies and all the parts associated with that, because that's basically going to take me down to bare bone minimum. So hopefully I can leave those other sets on and just get the fuel rail out. But that's kind of the last thing that's in the way. Although I can move the tube down into the crankcase, I don't really have enough room to move it up and away from the runners that are still in there. I really do need to get that full set out before I can get the tube out. But it's fairly close, and it should just take a little bit more work. To loosen up the fuel rail, there were just one bolt on two of these brackets in here. I was able to get those out relatively easily. And then just a quick pry bar on the fuel rail, and it popped out. I should be able to just kind of place this out of the way, and that should have been the final item that was holding on this middle set of runners. So now with that out of the way, I'll go ahead and slide this off hopefully and get the tube changed out. Let this be my lesson to everybody. Replace your wear items the first time so you don't have to go back in. This was the O-ring on the top. You can see it's pretty shredded. And then the O-ring that was sitting on the bottom is definitely squared off. They're old and no good. Here are the new ones, ready to go in. Just made sure to go in and clean kind of the mating surface where the tube goes into the crankcase. There was a little bit of crud down there, but I went and really made sure to get it all out, so that surface should be ready for the new part. In the top, nothing really to do there, but I just wiped it down one last time. And now it's time to put this mess back together. So there we go. Everything's back together and tightened. Looks just like it was at the beginning of the day. And the best way to know that I put all the bolts back in, I only have tools left on my cart and no spare bolts. So there you have it. The car's put back together, and hopefully with the new maintenance items of the O-rings, I should stop all the oil leaks that I've been having out of that area. And now everything's back together, and hopefully my problem's solved. I'll be taking the car out again for some tuning drives and hopefully getting that wrapped up, and I'm one step closer to putting the airbox on. I wanted to hold off on it just to figure this part out so that I wouldn't have had to take off more parts today to get to that tube. Yeah, so everything's looking good, and I'm happy with how the car is right now. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and come back for the following videos. We should have the car wrapped up pretty soon.